Our next story revisits a horrific car crash that was the talk of Singapore all through Chinese New Year festivities last year. The driver involved in the fatal incident on Tanjong Pagar Road last February was drink driving and speeding at 3 times the limit. 3 others also took turns racing the car before the crash. Now, each one of them going well past the 50 km/h limit. That is just some of the evidence presented during a coroner's inquiry into the deaths of 5 people last year. Michelle Teo with this report.
Friends and family of the 5 men arrived in court, including the father of the late driver, Mr. Jonathan Long, sister of the rear passenger, Mr. Gary Wong, and brother of the front passenger, Mr. Eugene Yap. Prior to the incident, the 5 men had gathered at a house in Ang Mo Kio for Chinese New Year celebrations, where they consumed alcohol. They proceeded to a restaurant at Tanjong Pagar Road, owned by one of their friends, Mr. Park Se-jin, where they continued drinking. 3 women were also present, including Miss Raby O, the girlfriend of Mr. Long, and Miss Fu Yi Lin. At about 4 a.m, the group decided to leave the restaurant when Mr. Long wanted to show his friends his new car and proceeded to let some of them drive it. Friends took turns to drive from the restaurant towards Keppel before making a U-turn at Angkor Street after Amara Hotel. It returned to Tanjong Pagar Road towards Maxwell before making another U-turn near 37 Tanjong Pagar Road and back to the restaurant. The first round was driven by Mr. Eugene Yap, with Miss Fu and Mr. Park as passengers. A speed analysis report shows he was speeding between 75 and 88 km/h. Miss Fu then took the wheel and she drove at a speed of between 52 and 59 km/h. The third round was driven by Mr. Park, with only Miss Fu in the car. He was speeding at between 125 and 181 km/h. The court heard that during these rounds, Mr. Long commented that the car could be driven faster. He then took the wheel with 4 passengers on the 4th round. Driving at between 110 and 148 km/h, he then lost control of the car, which skidded on its side and mounted a curb before it rear-ended into a pillar. Petrol leaked from the fuel tank and the car caught fire, eventually engulfing the whole vehicle. Autopsy reports indicate that all 5 men died of severe burns. Passenger Mr. Teo Tsi Siang also died of cervical spine injury, while Mr. Elvin Tan suffered pelvic injuries. Due to the condition of the car, investigators were not able to determine if the crash was caused by a mechanical failure. They did, however, find the car's charge pipes had been changed to ones that withstand more heat. In addition, they could only determine that Mr. Wong was wearing his seatbelt, as the buckle was still fastened in the receiver. All other seatbelts had melted in the fire. Airbags were also not deployed, as sensors are located in the front of the car and not in the rear where the impact occurred.
We found closure after the inquiry, so I have no further comments.
State Coroner Adam Nakoda said these findings will be taken into consideration to determine if any further witnesses will need to be called. If not, the inquiry findings will be presented at the next sitting, which will be on 15th June.